All right, what's going on today, guys? So, yeah, I gotta get the car out there and check the damage. But had that motorcycle sitting here, that one, and yeah, the Chinese kickstands on these seem to be too straight up. You know, they want to tilt the bike to the other side. I came in here last night and that thing was up against my car. It had fallen over into it. So I've been talking about painting this, putting some doors on it, changing the hood, because I got a problem with the hood. It's not the Matrix, it's the Diamond. I painted this car with RM back when I used to be sponsored by them, and all this artwork was done with RM. And I tried to save the Joker, and I taped it all off, and I painted around the hood, and then I just cleared everything after I did the flames. And you probably can't see it in the camera, but right here up against this line, all that shit's lifting off the car. So I had this whole car media blasted, everything but the hood. You can't mix polyester and urethane paints. They're not compatible. So if you have a car with an RM paint job and you bust open to the base coat and you try to put urethane primer on it, you will not like the results. And that's what happened with this car. I had been a Diamond guy for years and years and years, and this car was actually sponsored by RM for 10 years. They sponsored every race car I painted, and I loved the product, and I never had an issue with it, other till the time that I tried to put Matrix over the top of it. And what happened was it just cracked up like the desert, a lot like that applique we painted the other day, but the whole car looked like that. And I thought it was the primer, you know, and I raised hell with Matrix. I didn't even have a Matrix dealership at the time. And I went in there and chewed them an ass. They were actually at Nace in Orlando. And the guy ended up selling me a Matrix dealership. He gave me a little bit of money to media blast the car and start over again. And I learned my lesson about, you know, urethane going over polyester. It doesn't work. So that's what happened, and I don't know why it's lifting off that hood. I do know that Joker's been on that hood for probably 10, 15 years, you know, so it took a while for it to fail. I will give it that, but it's a failure nevertheless, and it's one of the failures of the worst kind. I mean, especially on a custom jobs, it's got layer and layers of candy on it. You know, it's going to be impossible to match that, so we'll have to come up with another paint scheme, or just redo it, you know. And it's a 3-day paint job, so it's a pain in the ass to even think about fixing it. So I'll probably leave it like this for the show, unless the door's KO'd really bad when I get it outside. It doesn't look too bad for some reason. I guess the door's so light that it just it caved it in, and when I pulled the motorcycle off of it, it popped right back out, thank God. So here's our hood. It's almost turned all the way black now. Process is almost done. I'm going to treat the rust on this side one more time. You can see where there's just a little bit of rust left. It was pretty heavily pitted. Somebody asked me a question about the vinegar water that other guys use. And I tried the vinegar water treatment, but it seems to leave a brown residue on the hood, and that's the metal rusting, you know. Doesn't work for me, whether I'm using the wrong ratio, I don't know. You know, that might be something that I have to look at. But I don't ever like to introduce water to bare steel, and a lot of times, you know, when you add water to something, even though the vinegar is a rust agent, the water is corrosive to bare steel, and it causes the metal to rust. And that's the last thing I want to do is put water onto bare steel. So I tend to use the OSFO. It's old school. I've been using that since you know, the early 70s when my stepdad introduced me to it. When we used to do Model A's all the time, we'd buy rusty parts and spray that on it, and that's just where we started. So as far as the vinegar in the water goes, I probably don't have enough experience with it to tell you whether it works or not. I know there are guys in the garage that have good luck with it, but you know, a bottle of OSFO there is you know, under $20, and you know it's a rust killer. It's made to do what it does. So vinegar is an amazing thing. You know, it'll do a lot of stuff, and I've seen guys do a lot of stuff with it. But as far as me, I just don't have enough experience to tell you whether it's a viable candidate for killing the rust or not. You know, especially rust like this. This thing was pretty deep, pretty pitted. So there we go. I hope that's answering that question for you. Somebody said they never heard silky smooth and primer in the same sentence, and this new primer is pretty damn smooth. It doesn't quite have the build as a true high build primer, but it is a high build. You can stick the stick in it after you stir it up, and it stands up. It's a 4-to-1, and it does, it eliminates a couple processes. You know, you don't have to etch, and you don't have to epoxy prime. You can just go right to the primer. It's got the 2K. It's got the corrosive built into it, and it's a pretty sweet deal. You know, a lot of the other guys in the garage were using products that could go right to direct to metal. Matrix is only got that one product that's a direct to metal product. They don't really recommend putting primer over bare steel, larger than a size of a hand. And there's quite a few companies that actually have that. You know, if you look at the fine print, over bare steel, I never did understand why they limit it to a bare or, a size of a hand. And then one of the reps in the classes told me it's because the size of a hand is a suitable size on a panel to warranty. So wasn't the question or the answer that I was looking for, so but they have released the direct to metal, and that's what I've been using. The first direct to metal primer wasn't that good. We tried it and it dried sort of ceramic-y, and this is something that they've had for a while. It's works pretty well. It's just a product that I haven't used a lot up to this point, and I've been using it quite a bit with some good results. So yeah. So we're hovering right at about 50 degrees there. Humidity's high. Got our Cadillac piece there. Absolutely no peel in that. Perfectly smooth. We'll go ahead and get rid of that today. Deliver that. Gotta go to the doctor's today, so I won't get to be out in the garage today. So the videos will be later today. I'll try to get some up. We're gonna try to paint some suspension parts and get this firewall and stuff primed up. So we're making some progress. I'm trying to do something every day with this car, so I can get it done and well, at least rolling again, So there we go. I want to say thank you to Gerald at GTS Designs for the birthday present. Gerald, you didn't have to do that, man. Now I owe you one, buddy, and I'll get your address. I'll get somebody will give it up in the garage. One of your friends will, because that's how friends do friends, But yeah, I got those blocks for you. I'd really like you to have the blocks. And hell, man, if you don't want them, maybe your son will take them. I know he's getting started, and I got a lot of extra stuff laying around here, buddy, that I'm not going to get to use. And I think that if your son's into that kind of stuff, I'd like them to have them, So whatever, I got them in the cabinet, threw them back in here. I got blocks after blocks after blocks. I know you can go buy a set, but and I know they're not that expensive, So let me send those blocks to you, and if not the blocks, let me mix some candy up for your son's project and send you a gallon of candy or something. Just let me know what color you want. I'd really like to help you with your project, and if I can send you a gallon of candy out, that would make me feel better. So let me know, buddy, please. Let me send you something, blocks, candy, something. You gotta need something. So I think it's cool that your son's out there in the garage helping you. I wish my son would come out here and help me, but it ain't his thing. So computers are his thing, and although the computers are part of the YouTube thing, it's not really something that I'm into, So it's hard, it's this garage can get lonely. So when I see fathers and sons doing it together, it's really cool. So if you guys need something for your project, let me know. I'd be glad to send you some candy, whatever you need. And hopefully you'll put some more videos up of you guys working together. I think that's pretty cool. So, all right, I'm gonna keep this one short, and that's what I always say. I'm gonna turn this off, go back inside. Got to go to a real estate meeting this morning with Andrea because my doctor's appointment is after the meeting, so I'm gonna have to sit in on that. That'll be interesting. And yeah, so that's all we're doing. Not a whole lot. Oh, Terry, I wanted to say thank you. I got my shock mounts. I didn't do an unboxing, but thank you very much for sending those. I'll make a video putting those on the car or the truck. And these are hard to make. Somebody said that I should just fab something, but these are the lower shock mount, and these are actually the brackets that hold the front end in the truck. You know, the shock mount holes are made into them. Mine are smaller. They have this small lip where this is cast into the piece. So we'll get these glass beaded up, and this will give us our shocks on the front of the truck. So that'll be cool. We'll get those bolted up and make progress on that. I'm gonna get that painted. We were arguing over what color last night on the Bronco. Andrea's wanting this thing purple, and I just don't want to paint any purple paint, man, not after the bus fiasco. So let's try to do a cold start on the bus real quick before I cut this video short, see if it'll start up, charge the battery. So I'll set you guys right here. See what we got. Started. I can tell already it's not going to run unless I hit the gas, and I can't start it and hit the gas. So we'll have to get the throttle cable hooked up on that bad boy and put that muffler on tonight, maybe. That would be a good goal for the day. Get something done. And then I need to get my paint chips hung up. I got my cabinet over there. These are all the different variances that you can make with a matrix. Got all these little different chips. Got the number on the back. A lot like the paint that we found for Lily Bomb. Porter project, a lot of excitement in the garage over this lately, so that's cool. We're gonna get a crate made for this bad boy, and apparently shipping's not that much money, so we might be able to ship this rather than drive it up there. Andrea says it's still gonna be cheaper for me to drive it. I don't know, we'll see. But we're gonna have to address this motor a little bit. So I've been having it sitting there. I need to fix the strainer plate, rejet the carbs, straighten the wires up a little bit, even though he's going to pull this fan housing off. We're going to go ahead and clean those wires up a little bit. He's probably going to run an alternator. That's a generator. We just have that on there for the purpose of running the fan so the motor didn't overheat when we were breaking it in. But anyway, nevertheless, we need to bolt the bell housing to this thing and fire it up, let it run a little bit longer. Rejet the carburetors, change the oil, and fix the strainer plate, and she'll be ready to go. I definitely don't want to turn it over with a little oil leak on it, you know, although it seems to slow down somewhat. But either that's a good sign or it means it's out of oil, one of the two. But yeah, not out of oil. That's good. Right on the full mark. So anyway, we're going to let this run on the floor for, you know, another hour or so. And we'll go through the carburetors. These carburetors run a 2300 cc motor, and this is a 1914, so it's considerably smaller, although it does have quite a bit of cylinder head work. The carburetors are going to have to be jetted down a little bit. I thought about changing the Venturis back out because it's got larger Venturis and butterflies installed, but the problem is the base plates are bad that were on it, so they stripped out the throttle shaft and have a big screw and a nut running through the bottom of the throttle shaft, and that won't work. It'll interrupt the airflow and make the one carburetor run behind the other one. So we're gonna have to use the venturis and the throttle blades we have. We'll try shrinking the jet down, maybe shrinking the idle jets a little bit. I didn't check what size those were, but just gonna shrink it down a little bit. Seems to be a little on the fat side, and it could be a combination of the motor being smaller than the last one and this exhaust system that Greg picked out. So he was adamant about having this exhaust where it would fit in the stock Gia apron and not hang down. He might in the future want to go to a merged exhaust, you know, get a ceramic merged exhaust. A lot of problems with the merged exhaust is, you know, with the heater boxes or the restriction. So a lot of people feel that if you don't change the heater boxes, there's no sense in having a merged style collector. Although, you know, it will produce more power than this type and make it easier to jet. The heater boxes are a roadblock. Now I know Berg back in the old days used to make the racing heater boxes. They'd use the 1 5/8" tube through them and build the box around it. And Scooter's got a couple sets of those, but they're in the, you know, up close to $1,000 range. So most people that are just getting into it don't go that way, you know. Well, I don't have many customers at the level that Scooter's customers play at, but yeah, most of his motors started at about $10,000, and you know, they're usually all big motors, so pretty cool. So yeah, so that's what's going on. I did get to talk to Scooter's son, and I'm going to be helping him with his race car, so that'll be some good videos coming up. He's got about 5 or 6 cars that he races, and he's having trouble breaking the 7-second barrier, so he wants to get into the 6s and the, you know, 1/8 mile, not quarter mile, of course. But so we're going to do some tuning on the suspension and stuff and see if we can get the thing up on the tire and get it to go a little faster. I tuned it once and got it to go 690s and 698, and he messed it back up and got it to go 720s, and that's as fast. It went 714 the other night, and so I'm going to start racing with him since I can't race anymore, and I don't know what's going to happen with that, you know. Like I said, he's got 4 or 5 cars. He's got a couple turbo cars. He's got some pro mod car. He's got some really cool stuff. And we might even put him in my car for a pass or two. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to be racing again, so that's cool. So we'll get some videos of that, and that'll be coming up soon. We're going to go out to Speed World on the 15th, and I'll definitely take the camera with me. I'll introduce you to them, and we'll get some cool videos. They go to a lot of races up in North Carolina, South Carolina, so we'll be traveling to those races, and it should be fun. So I'm looking forward to working with them, and you know, see what it brings. So we did buy an old friend of mine's motor that got sick. We almost set the record with it. We got it to run really good, and he bought that motor, and they put it back together. So we got some good engines and some good cars and a good truck and a good trailer. So it should be some fun racing for sure. So all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and go back inside, have some coffee, watch some videos. Saw video this morning from Just Hogging, and one of the other YouTube guys was there fixing his bike, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, so we'll go in there and check the videos out, see what's going on, and got some orders to fill today, so it's looking like a good day today. So you guys make the best out of yours, push the record button, and make it happen.